Hi, Yuri. This week's lesson, all about pioneers, inventors, and developers, is about mass communication. We'll be asking ourselves the question, how has mass communication influenced the way we live? Our learning objective is to understand how humans have become increasingly connected by mass communication. Everyone should be able to describe the impact of one particular invention, the printing press, which comes from Renaissance Europe, our starting point for this topic. Most of you should be able to do that, but also explain some other key developments in mass communication as well. And finally, hopefully, at least some of you can do all of that, but also reflect on the advantages and disadvantages of mass communication. So there's one key word for today's lesson, and that is mass communication. You might have come across it before in English, but if you haven't, there's a simple definition here. It's the method of giving or exchanging of information on a large scale to a wide range of people. So the key feature there is not just speaking one-to-one in a conversation, but how you can communicate probably to a lot of people and also potentially across a large distance. So what is the key idea for today's lesson? Well, ever since Neolithic times, when people gather around fires to listen to stories, one key feature of being human has been communicating. It's something that marks us out from other species because we're very, very good at it and we find it very important to how we get on a day-to-day basis. Ancient civilizations in Europe, Egypt, Mesopotamia, China, we could have included Mesoamerica on there as well, they all helped develop new methods of sharing information more quickly and easily. You'll learn about some today. However, it was the development of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg in around 1440 that revolutionized how humans communicate with each other on a large scale. It definitely marks a bit of a turning point in history. What technological developments in history have helped humans communicate easily and quickly across large distances to many people? It wasn't simply the printing press, and in fact, as we go through history and get into the 17 and in particular the 18 and the 1900s, all the way up to the 20th century and the 21st century, those technological developments will come faster and have even bigger impacts than the ones before them. So, one of your challenges for today is to answer this question. Which technological development in mass communication had the biggest impact on how we live? I've suggested there that the most recent ones have definitely had a big impact, but you can disagree and you could kind of consider how earlier things like maybe even radio or the telegraph actually represented a bigger turning point, or perhaps it was Johannes Gutenberg's printing press that we mentioned a second ago. Some of you, if you're doing the hard version of the assignment today, will also consider not just the positive impacts, but perhaps some possible drawbacks as well. So there you are. For today's lesson, complete the Microsoft quiz. There are 3 levels of it, so choose the one suited to your ability, but also your target grade. You finish fast, there's some extension tasks, but for the moment, just focus on the core learning. I look forward to hearing what you've learned and what you think about mass communication, how it's developed over history in the Microsoft chat at the end of the lesson.